No, y'all, no. Big social media creators are not getting disappeared. I understand that it makes for really viral content. You get tons of views and tons of clicks making videos freaking out about Dash Dabrowski and a couple of other folks speculating that like something terrible and nefarious has happened to them. And I wasn't going to speak about it at all, but now in my YouTube comments, I'm getting concerned fans who are like, be safe, Angela. Haven't you heard that big social media creators are getting disappeared? I know I've talked quite a bit in the past about parasocial relationships. It can feel like you know a lot about somebody because you are watching what they choose to present to you on their public platform, but you don't actually know people on social media at all. You know a little sliver of their life that they are choosing to present to you. And over the last week and a half, 2 weeks, I have seen so many videos like this one.
You remember when I said content creators would start disappearing? Well, it looks like we might have our first one. Dash Dabrowski, a political commentator with over 500,000 followers, hasn't been seen or heard from in more than 2 months. His last post, dated August 8th, was about the Trump Burger restaurant owner getting arrested and possibly facing deportation. And since then, nothing. No videos, no tweets, no updates. Now, maybe he's fine. Maybe he just needed a break. But something about this feels off. Creators don't just vanish for months without a single trace, especially someone who was posting daily. I've said this before and I'll say it again. They're not going after the big names first. They'll start with the mid-tier voices, the ones loud enough to matter, but small enough that people won't immediately notice when they're gone. So, where is Dash? Why has nobody heard from him since that last post? Maybe it's a coincidence, but maybe it's not. Either way, people are starting to ask questions.
Wow, how very Tucker Carlson of you. Oh, people are just asking questions. I think I want to talk in my next video about inciting panic. Tim Snyder has talked about this recently, how the right is really good at creating panics. And this really seems like an attempt to manufacture a social panic. I have seen a number of videos that are like, maybe AI voices. They're definitely kind of like generic, clipped together. The username, I don't know if you could see on that TikTok, is like some anonymous account, and the videos go crazy viral. But I've also seen other creators picking up this messaging and repeating it because they know that it will get crazy clicks and they will make a bunch of money off of it. And the tone is like ominous. Oh, remember when I told you that creators were going to get disappeared? Remember how I told you it was going to be mid-sized creators first? Right, the implication here is that the government is disappearing social media creators. And you think they're going to start with Dash? Y'all, come on. We cannot be sucked into this stuff. You have a parasocial relationship with a creator and you think that you know them. People have a right to take a break from social media. I have taken breaks very abruptly for reasons that I am not going to talk with you about. It's my own personal life and my own personal choice. I have mutuals who have taken significant breaks from social media due to health reasons, due to family emergencies, due to caregiving reasons, because they're burned out, because they go to work on another project. And I think that's what's happening with Dash. But again, pure speculation. He's a producer who's currently working on a film. That seems like a pretty legitimate reason to take a break from your social media platform to work on something for your real job. Not that social media is not a real job. It's a real job. But it's okay to take a break and focus. And you are not obligated to explain to your audience why you are taking a break. Now, precisely because I know people will get freaked out and people will worry when you make an abrupt pause in producing content and you don't explain. If I don't make content for a couple of days, or if I'm, gonna have to go on a trip, or I know that I'm gonna be having a reduction in content, I try and tell my audience so that they don't get worried. But I don't actually owe them that, and neither does Dash, and neither do these other folks that people are speculating about. Somebody in my YouTube comments mentioned another creator and I had to go search him up, where they're like, oh, he suddenly disappeared off of YouTube. But a quick Google search tells you that he announced back in February of this year he was going to be phasing out of making content because he was burned out. And also, let's be real, a lot of huge YouTubers and huge social media creators, they don't necessarily need to keep making content all that much or at all. A lot of them are in financial positions where they can kind of low-key retire. They can just dip. But this kind of a panic, I think, speaks to three different things, right? It really speaks to the desire of the regime or bad faith actors to try and foment a panic. Why? Because mid-sized social media creators or even small social media creators, we are very much picking up the stories, elevating the stories, sharing the footage that the mainstream media that is so much of it is functioning as the propaganda arm of the regime. They're functioning as state-controlled media. We're telling the stories that they're not willing to tell. So of course, the regime doesn't want us to make content. This, to me, is a chilling of dissent. This is an attempt to get social media creators of any size to be afraid to make content, to get us to comply in advance. And number two, I think this is an issue of parasociality. You think a creator owes you an explanation. You think you have a different kind of relationship with them than you actually do. That you are entitled to know their schedule, to know details about their life. And if they don't share that with you, if there is not that kind of intimacy and they suddenly stop making content, you're going to jump to wild conclusions because you felt that you were owed that information, and being deprived of it means something hinky must be happening instead of like, it's just not your business. Right. One of my mutuals made a video talking about this Dash issue over a week ago, and they were like, this is weird to me. This is like a little bit creepy that people assume that a creator has been disappeared by the government and their family hasn't made a public statement. Like the people that actually know them, their real friends, haven't done or said anything. Their family hasn't had a press conference. Like it would be actual headline news if a mid-sized creator, not even mid-sized, Dash has 550,000 followers. If they were suddenly missing, they have real people in their real lives who would speak out about it. Right? Let's Occam's razor this a little bit, y'all. What is more likely, that a social media creator takes a break from making social media? His family understands why, his friends know why, he's working on some other projects in his life, and he just doesn't, for whatever reason, doesn't feel like he has to explain it to the entire world? Or is there some government conspiracy where Dash Dabrowski has been kidnapped by the Trump regime? Nobody from his family is speaking out about it. And this is the beginning of like lots of disappearances of social media creators. And again, people are referencing Dash and then a creator named like The Dude, which again, it's either that guy on YouTube who announced in February he was going to be backing off, or you all might be referencing Tommy, who clearly had a mental health crisis on social media and is taking a break. Both of those accounts are like no posting in a long time for perfectly explainable reasons that you aren't owed. And then someone in my comments the other day said that they were worried about a creator that I know who's not been posting, and that this was like evidence. So now there's 3 creators missing. And I was like, or like maybe they've had COVID. Maybe they've just been sick and that's why you haven't seen them posting in a week or 2. Maybe they have shit going on in their real life. I guess this brings me to the third reason. I know that not all social media creators think that they have a responsibility to their audience. And I know there are plenty of social media creators all over the political spectrum who are like, this is a paycheck. I'm looking for virality. I don't feel that I have any obligation to check the facts. I don't feel that I have any obligation to be responsible with the things that I say on my platform. Honestly, if you're one of those social media creators, like, you can go suck eggs. Do you not understand that your words influence people? You must be able to sleep better at night than me deceiving your audience or spreading really irresponsible content in order to get a big fat paycheck. I don't know, whatever $49 or $380 that you're going to earn off of that video. I hope it's worth it for you to make other people, normal, regular, everyday people who are good and kind and caring, freaked out and worried about creators that they respect. I don't know, my conscience would trouble me a lot bit. I don't think I could sell my soul to make a video like the one that I showed you. So no, we have no evidence that anything nefarious has happened to Dash. Please use Occam's razor. Please do not be susceptible to panics. Please understand how the regime uses panics. And no, creators are not being disappeared by the government. There's not a vast conspiracy. Creators that you see online are real people, but you don't actually know them and they don't actually owe you an explanation.